Okay, we've been learning about recursion lately, which is just a method that calls itself over and over. Um, but I wanted to do recursion specifically with arrays, right? For the most part, we've been doing recursion where we like add numbers together or maybe count the number of digits in a number or something like that. But now we want to do it tie it in with our topic of array. Okay, so like I think a good way to do this is just to do a very basic idea of like let's print the numbers in some array, like the integers in some array. And basically the idea with a loop at least is you just make an index and you go through that index. You start at 0 and go less than the length, and then you just access the positions one at a time and print them out. So I'm actually going to code that here quick just to remind us what it looks like with a loop. Okay, so the loop is pretty straightforward. You just do the IDX starting at 0, do IDX less than nums.length plus IDX. Remember, you don't want to go all the way equal to the length because the indexes are always one less, right? So like in this particular example, we have, I guess mine maybe is a little different on the screen up there, but this goes, it would go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you don't want to go to 6 because then you go out of bounds. So you want to go less than the length. The length will be 6. So you want to stay less than that. Okay, and we just system out print. Maybe I'll do it with a space here. I'm just going to do nums position IDX plus a space, and that should print out all those numbers one at a time in the array. Okay, and so we're going to do that same thing, except now we're going to do it with recursion. And the idea of recursion is, like, at least with strings, how we did it is we would print the 0 spot and then eliminate it, call substring so it's not there, then print the 0 spot, call substring with everything remaining. And unfortunately with arrays you can't modify the size of them. So what we do is, you'll see here when we do the recursive method, is we're just going to pass in this nums array again and again, and it's not going to change. And all we're going to do is we're also going to pass in the IDX, and that's going to move along. Okay, and the weird part is our base case will be once we get to the length. So once we get over here at length 6, that would be over here. So once we're at length 6, then we'll stop. Right? Then we've reached the end of the array, and there's nothing else to print, and so we'll just print nothing. So our base case is actually printing nothing when the IDX equals the length. Okay, so and then the recursive step will just be print the one we're on, right? So print the spot we're on, the IDX spot, so num spot IDX, and then recall the method, but move the index over 1 when we recall the method. All right, so what this is going to look like in code here is, here's our method. It's going to be void, all right, because we are not returning anything, we're just printing out these values. And our base case again is if nums.length, maybe I'll type it this way, if IDX equals the length of the array, then there's nothing left to print. So this is literally do nothing, and this is kind of a stupid way to type this, but I'm going to do it just because I think it'll be easier for us to understand it in that sense. Okay, except it's going to make me do curly braces maybe. So if we're equal to the length, then we're not going to do anything. And then if we're not, we're going to print out the spot we're on. Okay, so I'm going to print it the same way I did before with nums IDX with a space on the end. Okay, no return, just print it out with a space. Okay, and then I want to recall the method. So like when we're on spot 0, right, when IDX is 0, it's going to print the 0 spot, and then I want to print all the other elements. So I'm just going to call my print values with the same array. I'm not changing that, and I'm just going to call it with the IDX being 1 greater. Okay, so that's essentially moving, like visually, what that's doing is moving IDX over 1, so that the next time the method is called, it's going to print a different spot in the array. Okay, so that's sort of the idea, is we're not actually going to change the array ever. This num stays the same all the way through. All we're doing is changing the IDX. And that is often how you do recursion with arrays, is the array stays the same, but what changes is the IDX. and then you stop, at either the end of it or potentially at spot 0, depending on the situation. So I'm going to call it up here in main, see if we did it right, just as a check. And I'm going to call it with my array and then the starting index, which is 0, because that's the first one I want to print. And if we run it, it should just print the array, boom, 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 boom. And kind of the cool part is you could print starting at spot 2 or something, start at the 11. That would be kind of neat to see that you can, just print part of the array now pretty easily, right? So that's kind of neat, but that's how you would print an array recursively. Okay, and then again, trying to understand this, I'm going to do one more program. Okay, and so this one's going to be a little bit trickier, but another thing we do with arrays oftentimes is we find the min or the max value. Okay, so I'm going to do a recursive method that finds the min. And the part that is really, really weird here is you normally, the idea is you make a min value, and you usually set it to num's position 0 or something like that, and assume that that's the min. And then you go through and check, is each other spot less? And if it's less, then it becomes the new min. Right? But we really can't do that with recursion, because each time you call the method, you can't make a new min variable. The wrong way to sort of do this would be to think do int min equals num's position 0 or something, right? Because if you do that, every single time the method gets called, it's going to make this min each time, and we're going to call the method over and over again. So this is not going to be a winning strategy. Okay, so I think the sort of the right way to do it is maybe to set this min to be whatever spot we're on. We're assume that is the min, the spot we're on, and then compare it to the min for everything to the right of it in the array. So visually it would look like this, is whatever spot we're on, let's say IDX is right here. There's IDX. We're going to assume that this one is the min, and then we're going to recall the method to find the min of all of these, which in this case would be 3. And then you're going to compare that min with this one and return whatever one is lower. Okay, and that generally should work, right? I know I started at the first spot, but let's just imagine it was a different spot in the array. Let's say IDX was over here. Okay, so then we would compare 11 to the min of all of this by recalling the method, and the min of that is 3, and it's going to return the smaller of those. Okay, and then you just keep moving IDX over each time. Actually, when you recall the method, it'll do that automatically. Move it over there, because now you'll be finding the min of this part. Okay, so I know that's pretty abstract, but I want to assume that the spot I'm on is the min, and then I'm going to do the smallest of the other ones. So I'm just going to do call find min with everything else. So that would be with that same array, but just move the IDX over one. So that's everything to the right of the spot we're on. And then you just return whatever is smaller of those. So if this min is less than the smallest, then we return the min. Else we're going to return the smallest. Okay, and the only problem is right now we don't really have a base case. Okay, and so the base case is going to end up being the same thing as if we hit the end. Right, once the IDX goes off of the end, then we're not really going to do this anymore. So basically, once IDX equals length again, then we're done. And in that case, we sort of have an empty array or nothing in the array. And so we're going to return the integer.max value, saying basically there is no min, right? Because we've reached the end of the array, we don't have a min. There's nothing anymore at this point, right? We've searched through all this array and we're over here. There's nothing really left. So the min is just the integer.max value, saying basically there isn't a min. Okay, so that's going to be our base case, is just if the IDX, this is the same as it was in the print one, if it equals nums.length, then we're at the end. And if that's the case, we want to straight up return integer dot max value, saying there really isn't a min. Okay, and then we're only going to run this other code if we're not at the end, which is what we want to do. Because if IDX is equal to length, we definitely don't want to do this because we'll get index out of bounds. All right, so doing it this way will stop us and say, hey, if we've reached the end of it, there's no real min. It's just going to be the max value. Okay, so let's see if we can get this guy to work here. Take this out for a second. And let's do, instead of print values, let's do find the min. And we're going to call it with the same array and the same starting index of 0. We just got to store it this time. And then sysl print and see if we can find the min here. And so let's rock and roll. And it looks like we got the min of 3. Okay, and just to make sure it worked, I'm going to put the min in the beginning here, because I think it's good to test that the beginning spot, and then I'm going to put the min here, make -21 the min, and just run it one more time, make sure we're actually finding the min. Okay, so it's a pretty weird concept. I don't think you'll have to code this on the AP exam, but there's multiple choice questions. We have to analyze code that is recursive. So that was my thought for doing this lesson. All right, thanks for watching.